The week kicked off with a huge blow in Baltimore. Right before facing the Chiefs, the Ravens dropped news that had everyone on edge. Their defense might take the field without practically their entire starting defensive line. And to make matters worse, one of their biggest stars is already officially ruled out. This is the kind of situation that completely changes how you prepare for a matchup of this magnitude. Coming off a grueling battle with the Lions, the Ravens are worn down, and now they have to face Patrick Mahomes and an offense loaded with speed. The question is, can Baltimore hold up under that pressure without its most important pieces on defense? Baltimore's week began with a massive scare. Imagine walking into practice and realizing the entire starting defensive line is missing. That's exactly what happened on Wednesday. Nnamdi Madubuike, Travis Jones, and Broderick Washington Jr., the three guys who anchored the middle of the defense, were all absent. That left the field practically empty at that position, with only veteran John Jenkins and rookie Aeneas Peebles try to hold things together. The problem isn't just that they weren't out there, it's who we're talking about. These are the players that form the backbone of the defense, the ones who make an impact on every snap, clogging up the run game and pressuring the quarterback. Without them, everything changes. The defense loses its punch right at the line of scrimmage, the foundation of everything. And when only two guys are available for practice reps, even preparing for the next game becomes a major challenge. What makes it worse is that this isn't just one guy being rested or dealing with some soreness. It's three starters all at once, and that kind of hit creates a huge sense of vulnerability. In football, when you lose an entire unit in one shot, the effect goes way beyond practice. It rattles confidence, disrupts preparation, and even weighs on team morale. And seeing a rookie like Peebles suddenly thrust into so much responsibility this early tells you the team is already being forced to stretch thin. All of this is happening in a short week, right after a brutal game against the Lions. The schedule isn't forgiving, the fatigue is real, and the absence of these names leaves a massive hole right in the middle of Baltimore's defense. And it gets even more concerning when you remember that one of those missing players, Nnamdi Madubuike, already has his status confirmed for Sunday, and the news isn't good. As if missing practice wasn't troubling enough, John Harbaugh made the news official and even worse. After Wednesday's session, the head coach confirmed what no Ravens fan wanted to hear. Nnamdi Madubuike will not play against the Chiefs. That's a huge blow because he's not just another body in the rotation. He's the guy who sets the tone for the entire line. Madubuike has been on a tear. He already has 2 sacks this season, and last year he racked up 13, finishing 7th in the NFL and earning second-team All-Pro honors. It's rare for a defensive tackle to bring that kind of pass rush impact, and the Ravens' defense has leaned heavily on his ability to collapse the pocket from the inside. Losing a player like that, especially going up against Patrick Mahomes, is like having one of your best weapons stripped away right when you need it most. Harbaugh's words also hinted at something bigger. He didn't want to give too many details, but he made it clear the situation requires caution. That sets off alarms for the season as a whole, because if Madubuike is out for longer than expected, Baltimore's defensive blueprint for 2024 takes a major hit. The team was built around him being the centerpiece, and now they're forced to scramble. The tougher part is what this means for the rest of the line. Jenkins and Peebles will have to carry heavy snap counts, and the rotation, which was once a strength, suddenly becomes a liability. Madubuike's absence is a clearer sign of just how shaky things have become for the Ravens. And it wasn't only the defense raising red flags this week. Even on offense, one key name had people worried. Amid all the defensive injuries, another headline grabbed attention: Ronnie Stanley. The left tackle didn't practice Wednesday, but this one feels different. Stanley played all 57 offensive snaps against the Lions and held up well against a relentless pass rush. His absence looks more like a smart move to preserve him than an actual injury concern. It's worth remembering that Stanley has dealt with plenty of physical setbacks in past seasons, and the Ravens know how important it is to keep him healthy long-term. In a normal week, he probably would have at least gone through par practice. But coming off a physical Monday Night Football matchup, and with only a few days to recover before Kansas City, holding him out made sense. Still, the timing feeds into the overall anxiety around the team. With the defensive line already gutted, Any news involving a Pro Bowl lineman sparks speculation. But all signs here point to precaution, and Stanley is expected to be ready to protect Lamar Jackson on Sunday. Even so, the contrast is striking. One side of the ball is carefully managing its stars, while the other is scrambling with holes it can't easily patch. And when you look back at just how much Baltimore's defense was stretched thin against Detroit, the bigger picture starts to come into focus.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
That loss of the Lions is still fresh, and what stands out most is how much the defense was forced to endure. They were on the field for 66 snaps, which is a heavy load by itself. But the backbreaker was that 18-play, 98-yard drive that chewed up nearly 11 minutes of clock. That one possession alone drained the defense and showed how hard it was for them to get off the field. That kind of grind doesn't just affect the scoreboard. It takes a massive physical toll. Playing almost 11 minutes straight against one of the strongest offensive lines in the NFL leaves anyone gassed. For a unit that's now already banged up, the carryover from Monday night explains why so many players couldn't even take the field for practice by midweek. In a long season, stretches like this can be turning points in the wrong direction. The ripple effect was obvious. When the defense can't get off the field, the offense loses rhythm and time possession, and the whole team balance falls apart. Against Detroit, the run game dictated the pace, and Baltimore's pass rush struggled to get pressure on Jared Goff in key spots. Now, without much of their starting front, those same issues could easily surface again. That draining effort against the Lions sets the stage for an even tougher challenge. If Detroit was exhausting, Kansas City presents a whole new level of danger with the weapons Mahomes has at his disposal. While Baltimore is scrambling to piece things together, Kansas City is in the exact opposite position. They had full participation in practice, and Andy Reid confirmed everyone is good to go. That means Patrick Mahomes has all his weapons, including Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, and Tyquan Thornton, a trio of burners who can torch a vulnerable defense in an instant. For the Ravens, that's a nightmare scenario. Without Matabike and with a depleted defensive front, the pass rush might not get home nearly as often as it needs to. And giving Mahomes extra time in the pocket is like handing him the keys to the game. The chances for explosive plays skyrocket, and with receivers who can stretch the field vertically, one mistake could turn into 6 points before you know it. The contrast between the two teams couldn't be sharper. Baltimore limping in with questions everywhere. Try to patch up its defense and manage key players on offense. Kansas City rolling in fully healthy, rested, and prepped without any distractions. It's a clash of realities that could determine how this matchup plays out. And make no mistake, this isn't just another regular season game. It already feels like a litmus test for the Ravens, a battle where they'll have to prove their toughness against one of the most lethal offenses in football, even while missing some of their biggest names. The Ravens walk into this game against the Chiefs with a heavy load on their shoulders. The defense is coming off a brutal night against the Lions, and now they lose Matabike, the player who made the biggest difference up front. Travis Jones and Broderick Washington Jr. are question marks, leaving the rotation dangerously thin. On the other side, Mahomes has a full roster and an offense ready to take advantage of every crack in the armor. The contrast between the two teams couldn't be starker, and that only ramps up the pressure on Baltimore. And that's where the big question hangs. Even with all these setbacks, can the Ravens walk into Arrowhead and find a way to slow down Kansas City's explosive offense? The answer could reveal a lot about this team's mental toughness and even shape the direction of their season. One thing is certain. This matchup is going to be a defining moment for Baltimore, a chance to show whether they can withstand adversity or be overwhelmed by it.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.